Hi, Sean Stodola, Warranty Manager here at Charleston Homes, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about touching up the paint, the wall paint. So what I've got is the leftover paint that we leave with the home. So basically the painters put 2 coats of paint on everything, and then whatever's left after the final touch-up coat, they leave that down there. It's very, very important to save this, even if it's empty. Either save the lid or take a picture of the label on top, because that's going to help you down the road if you ever need to get additional paint. If you don't have that tag, they won't know which batch number of paint to mix for you. You can get the color, but the colors could be different. So the batch number sticker is going to be very important in the fact that you need paint later, it's going to match versus it being a little bit different, a shade or two off. So I've got the leftover paint downstairs. It's usually in the utility area. So I brought that up. And then just some tools I have. Obviously, I've got a rag. This is called a 5-in-1 tool. It can be used as a scraper to scrape off any like paint runs or any little dimples, imperfections in the wall. But also you can use it if you had just a 5-gallon or a 1-gallon pail of paint. You can use it to open that. I've also got some mini rollers. There's a variety of different sizes and shapes. I personally like the smaller of the two for touch-ups, and well, you could use a 12-inch roller if you're re-rolling the whole wall. If you're only doing small little marks, less paint is better, because the fact that you don't have to blend as much, and so that's key in doing touch-ups with this wall paint. It's a flat paint, it's a timeless brand paint, so it does have some cleaning properties as far as not smudging when you touch it as easily as just a true flat paint. But again, less paint applied is better because you're not taking the chance or not worrying about it not matching as closely. And then for rollers, if you're doing touch-ups on the trim, I like to use just basically a really smooth foam-like roller or a felt roller such as this. Otherwise, for the walls, I actually like to use a little bit thicker napped roller such as this. It's got a little more texture to it. It grabs that paint and allows you to kind of match the little bit of a bumpy texture that's on the walls. So I've got a roller I've been using already, so I'm going to continue to use that one. Again, I like the smaller roller because I can just kind of touch up these spots and not have to paint a huge area. I'm just kind of lightly rolling over those walls, enough paint applied to just cover up the marks. And then as far as brush, I just like to use a small Worcester brush. There's a variety of them, but a good quality brush is going to get you a long way, because the less expensive ones, the bristles tend to fall out, and so as you're painting areas, the bristles will actually stick in the paint, and then you spend more time trying to pull that bristles out as opposed to getting the paint applied, and then that nice smooth mark you just made, you end up having to touch it with your fingers and then redo it. So anyways, a good bristled brush. I like the smaller ones as opposed to the longer handled, because I get more control with just my hand. And the paintbrush you're only going to use basically where you're cutting in next to the trim. So that would be applied using a brush because it's smooth. So you want the brush strokes going down to cut that in. And then the areas in the wall, in the middle of the wall, you just want to get a little bit of paint applied and just kind of lightly go over that. And remember, less paint applied on the roller, the better. And so basically you just kind of dab it in like that. So first off, if you haven't done a lot of painting, I would recommend getting a paddle mixer and a drill and actually mixing this paint up, especially if it's pretty full, because you're going to basically grab the paint and materials from the bottom and work their way up. In this case, there's not much paint in here, so I'm going to forego using a stir stick, but traditionally you'd use a stir stick. But I'm just going to kind of mix it side to side a little bit like this. And basically, because there's not much paint at all in this one, but you could also use a stir stick too if you're not really familiar with painting techniques and using paint. Normally you'd have a drop cloth or whatever you feel comfortable with. But so they do have shields that you can use or grates. For homeowners, I think it's great if you just put it in a little paint rolling tray. In my case, I'm just going to lightly take a little bit of paint. So again, I'm not putting a lot of paint on here, but just enough. And I'm just lightly dabbing over those areas. And it doesn't have to be thick. You're just basically covering up those marks. There's a mark here. And so there's one more right here. And so when those dry, they should match, given you stirred it well enough and you didn't apply too much paint to the wall itself. This one might be a little bit thick, so I'm just going to kind of feather it out a little bit. And then again, if you have something that needs to be cut in, you're just going to put a little bit of paint on your brush and you just cut in next to your door jambs, just like that. And if it's mixed well and you applied the right amount of paint, this should all blend in seamlessly. So if you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to us. Otherwise, visit our website, charlestonhomesomaha.com. Check out our models. Thanks for tuning into our blog.